Good evening, people of YouTube world, and if you're listening in a later date podcast world, welcome to the Toon review and the Manchester City Newcastle United match preview. A lot to get into tonight, hence why I did a video earlier on today. A lot going on with regards to our good old friends at Amnesty International again, who, well, you know, claim to think they're the bee's knees for everything, and quite clearly they're not. I do apologise for my disappearance on Tuesday night for the fan forum. Technical fault, major technical fault. I've gone back to Old Faithful hub, and everything is plugged in as normal, and things are working well. So let's just hope it continues that way. Don't change what is working, people. Everybody tells you that. Yet I went and did it, and I was an arse. But you know,
like Eddie Howe.
Yes, more expensive is not always better, guys. Let's just put it that way, because you know, some things work a lot better. Tom Lynch was on very early on, half an hour ago. Good evening. A lot of shit stirring going on. The agreement was that the Saudi government do not directly control Newcastle. There's no change as far as I can see. Rachel says, good evening, everyone. You know what to do because we posted enough times. Enjoyed the show. Just to get you guys, before we go into obviously the match preview, Billy will, you know, I did a video on it earlier on today. Obviously, Amnesty International kicking off because it looks like our chairman is listed as a member of, well, a politician for Saudi Arabia. This has come around through paperwork that was discovered during the obviously the Live Golf PGA case, which is happening right now. Are you worried at all about it, or because I'm not really? I mean, look, I don't know where I stand on it. Politics is bollocks in football anyway for me. And if Amnesty International have a problem, then go to the Prime Minister, go to the politicians to actually do something about the human rights, etc., in Saudi. And
they know they can't do that because this country does billions of pounds of business for Saudi Arabia each year.
Exactly.
So you know, they haven't got a leg to stand on, so they're kind of tit-tattle into the Premier League. Aided and abetted, I'm sure, by a few of the Premier League clubs, and I've seen that's been reported too, that a few of the Premier League clubs want the Premier League to revisit it. They can't revisit it. It's simple as that. The deal's done. It's not like when Abramovich had to leave Chelsea because of the Russian.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, Billy, because people are asking me questions saying, well, you know, look what happened to Chelsea. They can do what they did to Chelsea with Newcastle. It's completely different.
It is, because we're not at war with Saudi Arabia. We're not supplying weapons to someone that is at war with Saudi Arabia. It's completely a different kettle of fish. It came about because of this separate golf tour that PAF are sponsoring to rival the PGA Tour. I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, it probably is sports washing, but I mean, Qatar are trying to buy Manchester United. I'm sure they'll have no problem if that does go ahead, even though I don't think it will. It's nothing to worry about.
I mean, this wasn't even mentioned amongst. It was briefly mentioned in a statement by Amnesty that just said, "And we have this Qatar takeover going on," and that's all they said about it. Not that they disapproved of it or anything like that. It was just a quick mention of it, which basically tells a story of its own, Alex.
Yeah, I'm not sure why there's been so much more emphasis on us in the last couple of days. Given the whole Qatari links, given all the stuff that's come out about the PSG president as well, and kidnapping and all these accusations and stuff, it's bizarre that we're at the forefront of all of it. I'm getting really bored of sports washing now. It's the Western spin. I mean, this is me speaking as a 30-year-old white male from the West. I'm bored of this Western spin on sports washing. Like, there are American owners in the Football League. And America are having such a crisis with gun laws, death, police brutality, huge issues, and I disagree with half of how that country's run, and it's disgraceful. They've still got the death penalty. There's this, that, and the other, but because it's a Western country, it gets a bypass on all of this, and it just doesn't count somehow. You just pick and choose the narrative. It's because it's well, we don't want to start bringing race and racism into it, but it's just bizarre. You know, just because a country is traditional in its ways and does things a different way, does that mean it's wrong or right? Who are we to judge what's right or wrong?
That's my point. You know, who are we to tell Saudi Arabia or any other country of that matter how to live their lives? That is their government, their rules, and we are not at liberty to tell anybody how to live. It doesn't work like that. You know, like Billy said earlier, there's enough going on in this country. You know, Amnesty should be looking at this country, the poverty, the pedophilia that's going on in this country, the gang rape and stuff. There is terrible stuff going on in this country that for me is just as bad as what's going on in Saudi Arabia. So every country has its problems, right? Every country has its human rights problems, and Amnesty need to get off the high horse and just, you know, challenge things that are legitimate, because this is just bollocks. It's absolute bull rot. And again,
I've got no problem with them challenging things, but they should go to the right people. Go to James Cleverly, the Foreign Secretary. Go to Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister. Not to the Premier League.
Yeah,
you know, when we do, like I said, billions of pounds worth of business with Saudi Arabia each year. You know, if it's that bad of a country, why are we doing it? Simple.
Well, that's the thing, Billy. They won't go to these places, and that's exactly the reason why they won't go to these places, because they know that the MPs of this world will just laugh them off because of the millions of pounds that is involved in trade with the Saudis and other Middle Eastern countries. It's not just Saudi Arabia, is it? You know, so
they do pick and choose their battles. I mean, the Crown Prince was part of the. I'm not sure what the name is. There was a group of political leaders and country leaders, and the Crown Prince was one of them, of Saudi Arabia, who helped negotiate the release of prisoners of war and stuff that Russia had captured. So literally on our side, that the West, you know, I think we can all agree the West is generally on the Ukrainian side, and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia helped negotiate release and things like that. He's direct, but there was no praise for that. There's no consideration for things like that at all. It just gets ignored.
No, that's the thing. Everything they do that's good is overlooked. And look, they do a lot. You know, all the Middle Eastern countries, whatever laws they've got in their countries, they still do a lot for other people. I had a lovely message of somebody from Saudi from that video I did earlier on today, saying that you know, they are making progress. You know, women can drive now. You can express your feelings in public. You can start, you know, look what they're doing with the ladies team over here. They're plowing money into that. They've got Amanda Staveley running the show over here on behalf of them. You know, it's all the negative news that always keeps piling on Newcastle United rather than the positive stuff. And he said, look, you know, get yourself over to Saudi. You'd be massively welcomed. And when Newcastle were over there during the World Cup, there was a lot of fans over there who travelled over there and were treated with like royalty. And treated with it was just a lovely environment to be in. So it's not all bad. Yes, there is problems, and yes, we've addressed them a million times over. But that's not for us to do anything about. That is a politician's job. We stick to the football. Simple as that.
Not just that. From a political point of view, there are people actually in this government that want to leave the European human rights thing, which is, if they want to talk about human rights, go have a chat with the government.
Yeah, exactly.
About people in this country.
That's right. Zishan, thank you very much for your $9.99 super chat. He says, a reply to all the media and Amnesty regarding our ownership, as Reggie Cray would say, bollocks. Well said, Zishan. Devon says, what I don't get with Amnesty International is why it is a big problem now and not over 12 months ago when the takeover happened. Because they just like to drop it in every now and again. It's the way they work.
They were very involved 12 months ago.
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
More 18 months ago.
It hasn't gone away. That's what I said on the video. It hasn't gone away. You know, it's there all the time. And look, it's going to be there for as long as PIF own Newcastle United. It's going to always be there. We'll never go away. But I'm not going to sit here and let some, you know, Amnesty have a go at Newcastle United when it's a politics side that they need to sort out. Nothing to do with football. And look at what they're doing for the area of Newcastle. You know, the Port Strawberry Place back. There's going to be jobs created. It's helping people in this region because the Northeast has been forgotten about. You know, and I'm including Sunderland in all that because it's a Northeast. We get forgotten about by these Southern idiot politicians, right? We always have done for many, many years. But now we have the Public Investment Fund who are ploughing money into our city and the Northeast in general. So it is not all a bad thing at all, especially when it can give people jobs. It gives people hope. It gives people aspiration. You know, and look what it's done for all the supporters for mental health and things like that. It's just a fantastic place to be at the minute. So nobody is going to spoil that. Brandon says Isak needs to start, in my opinion, and Gordon and ASM, we can really get at them. They're not the Man City they used to be. Well, we'll find out on Saturday. Tom says how is
Man City that scored 64 goals.
Yeah. Tom says how is facing a fresh selection dilemma with Matt Targett now pushing for a start ahead of Saturday's trip to the Etihad. We may as well start with the defence, guys. I mean, look, Alex, you said you were done with Dan Burn at left back. I pretty much agree with you. But I still don't see Matt Targett starting on Saturday.
No, he's not going to be ready. Absolutely no way he's ready. You know, he's played in a reserve game recently in which he scored in because that was documented, and then he made the bench for the final. Is he ready to start 90 minutes against Man City? Hell no, absolutely no way. What? The only time we've ever seen this kind of thing is when we all thought Isak wouldn't play, and you thought he would, and Howe gave him the first 45 minutes in the cup, so he could, you know, have the benefit of a full warm up, and then they would change him at half time. But that was different. That's a striker, and that was in the cup. Yep. This is a fullback in the league against Man City, so it's a little bit different. And that's the only time I've seen that happen. Generally, when people are coming back from injury, he'll give them 15, 20, 25 minutes at the end. And again, it's a bit trickier with a back line because it's dangerous changing a back line in a difficult game or when the game's still in the balance. You know, and it's unlikely we're going to be 3-0 up at City and able to make defensive changes. So I think he's probably getting close to being ready again, and his fitness is probably great and he's training. But, you know, starting a Premier League match against Man City, I don't think people quite understand the level the Premier League is. It's a lot of people, you know, they use throwaway terms like, oh, they get paid so much money, they should just be able to do it. The fitness of some of these guys in the Premier League is monstrous, is just outrageous. It takes time to get up to that level, and it's Manchester City. Like, he's not ready. I'd be shocked if he gets anywhere near the pitch, bar and maybe a 10 or 15 minute appearance at the end, if he's very lucky.
Yeah. Paul Tully says, I totally disagree. Amnesty do all of that and more. Let's get facts before scrutinising what is a very good charity doing great work. Billy's already said that, Paul. Billy's already said that he doesn't mind what Amnesty do. Amnesty are a very, very good charity. There's no doubt about that. But they're going about this particular thing the very, very wrong way. That's what we're trying to say. It's the football club is nothing to do with Amnesty. If it's the politics they're not happy about, then go to the right people. Because at the minute, they're not. That's what we're saying. We're not saying that we disagree with Amnesty or whatever work they've done in the past. It is a good charity, so I haven't got a problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is bringing politics into the football club. It's not fair, and it's not right either. Anyway, Billy, are you worried defensively for Saturday?
Strangely enough, I've been thinking about it the past couple of days. I'm not. No, I'm actually not.
You're not.
I'll be quite happy to go with Burn, Cher, Trippier, and Botman. It's the first time in about 6 weeks where we haven't played a low block counter attack side, and I think we can defend well against teams that don't low block counter attack, and we have done all season.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But you were calling for Lewis 2 weeks ago.
I was just how Maxi out. But against a low block side, I'll still have Lewis in.
Okay, fair enough.
But
Billy, don't forget, Alex has the memory of an elephant, Billy. Don't forget.
No, but his point makes sense. It does make sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the last 5 games: Bournemouth, Liverpool, Man United in the cup final, Leeds, West Ham, all played low block, all counter attacks.
Yeah, good point. Tom says, this is a good point. We've just appointed a Saudi woman as a director, so there's another point. You know, That's a good point, actually, Tom. Well, there's two new directors, and one of them is a lady. So, yeah, there's two. And I'm very excited about the Paul McLaren situation, by the way, because
touche.
Because they nabbed one of our guys, didn't they? They nabbed one of our first team coaches.
Yes, they did. But this guy comes with a brilliant CV, guys. Let's not forget that. And he's done some brilliant work at Manchester City. So the players that he could attract it's a massive coup. It really is, because to nip somebody off Manchester City isn't an easy thing to do, and especially when it's staff. But he comes with a brilliant CV, so I expect literally Mbappe in the summer. Anyway, Spacebar says, Paul Tully, I'm sure they do, but it's getting beyond a joke of this witch hunt on NUFC. That's what it is. Jordy Barry says, what about the huge amount of trade we do with China? Don't they have dubious practices? But this is Newcastle, and apparently that's different. Paul is right. Keep the politics out of it. Yes, indeed. Look, Billy, where do you stand on what Alex said about Matt Targett? If he's fit enough, would you give him 60, 70 minutes instead of Burn?
No, I think he'll get the last 20, and all dependent on injuries, of course. But I mean, if there was to be a centre half injured, I'll be okay putting Burn in centre half and bringing Targett on. I think he'll get the last 20, 25 perhaps, if at all. He might not even come on at all. He might have a reserve game in midweek or something, or whatever, it's friendly or whatever. He's played a couple of reserves, hasn't he? So he's not. Well, the thing is,
yeah, but I think what people forget about Matt Targett is, though, guys, he was dropped before he was injured. Remember, Eddie Howe dropped him.
He did
before he was injured. Yeah, so it's not the greatest answer in the world. For me, I am a little bit worried about Saturday. I have to say, Man City are one of these teams that I guess it depends what City turn up, but against us, they always turn up. That's the thing. And St James's Park, we give them a really good run, but this is at the Etihad, and we don't have the greatest of records down there. But it all depends, Alex. I think is how the mentality is after the cup final, isn't it? How they want to respond.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Billy said a minute ago about I'm not too worried. I'm actually not that worried because I think the goals were. I think the second goal from Rashford was an incredible bit of skill, and it was just a deflection and just awkward. I think the first goal was lucky. It wasn't a foul. Cher was concussed or a bit dazed, if we're going to say that. I think it was quite fluky. I think a few goals have just been the lads have lost focus. So if I can imagine that, we're due a game where they actually concentrate, and when we concentrate, we don't concede many. So I'm not too fussed. We just need to score, and I think we just need to make sure we don't lose focus too much because we don't want our goal difference to go down the toilet. It's going to be a tough run in. And we've got a very good goal difference at the moment. And our goal difference might be the difference between, I've said difference too many times. I'm going to go with it. It might be the difference between finishing 4th, 5th, 6th. It could be Europa, Conference, Champions League. The goal difference might be really important later on in the season. So we need to make sure because we've got a much better one than the teams around us. So we've got to try and maintain that and not get... we don't want to sending off and get pumped like 5-1. Like we need to make sure if we lose, it needs to be close and we need to be careful.
Anybody have any idea what this means, guys?
Without Story Clown.
I think somebody needs to speak English before they start insulting. Andrew says another YouTuber said we could get Giroud on a free. Thoughts? Why is my question to that. Giroud has been a very good player, and I think one of the most underrated players that's played in the Premier League. However, he's 35, 36 now. Why would we want Giroud? I don't understand that.
I wanted Giroud, but that was
a few years ago.
First transfer window. He is.
Well, let's be honest. He's not going to gain any. He's not going to lose any pace. He's going to be as slow now as what it was when he was 25. He's never had any pace, but he doesn't play the way.
But I think they'd be looking. Yeah, I think they'd be looking given our sort of transfer dealings in the past, they'll not be looking at a 36-year-old. I guarantee it. Pedro says Target hasn't featured in the league since a 3-minute cameo against Chelsea in November, and has slowly been making his way back to full fitness and featured for the under-21s. Tony says Burn versus City would be more defensive, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I worry about if we sit back, though, Billy. If we sit back against Man City, that's when they can really hurt us.
I don't think we will sit back. I think we'll play our natural game. I think obviously we're a bit more tentative than you. I mean, just use Arsenal as an example. The game we played at Arsenal would be similar. I think it would be similar to that. We're obviously not going to go gung ho at them, although I think that'd be quite good if we did. But obviously not going to do that. But I think I'll just try and stop the balls coming from De Bruyne, and obviously someone's going to have to do a really good job on Haaland. But then you've got Grealish on the left because he's been playing pretty well of late. Mo's on the right. There's lots of players to watch, but that's why all of them have got to be concentrating for 90 minutes Saturday. Yeah. Can they do it? Time will tell.
Tony says, I thought Amnesty International was an airport. Dear me. Mark says, I'm such a dick. I've been watching Tuesday's show instead of this one. Oh, my God. So some people are having a right night. Jesus. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. Hi, guys. I'm from Mauritius, and I'm big fans of Newcastle United. We'll beat Man City 2-0. Would anybody like to attempt to say that name? Because I'm not saying it because I will end up insulting someone.
Conhi Patis.
Thank you, Billy Trey.
Is Mauritian a language? I'm curious now.
Oh, dear. Andrew says, what Wembley final? This is our 7-0 weekend, folks. Andrew, that's optimistic, to say the least. I really do. Keith, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, matey. That was really kind of you. Thank you so much. And I Like Coffee got one of those, so thank you very much. Sean says, we're slowly going to drop into mid-table. We've overachieved all season as it is. City will beat us 4-1. Howe has to stop being loyal to some players and need to drop Burn, Wilson, and maybe Miggy. Ian Fleming, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, I hope I'm wrong, but can't see us getting anything on Saturday. Our final third just not at it and not scoring enough. Yeah, but this is where we get a chance to turn it around, Alex. This is where we get a chance to change that final third. Gordon's back. Isak has to start because if he goes with Wilson, I'll be pretty annoyed because Wilson's done nothing to regain his place. Isak, for me, did enough in that second half in the cup final to start. And I'd go with Maxi again because I think Maxi and Isak have got something going or potentially could have something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to beat them to get something out of the game. I think we need to show an improved performance. I think we could do with getting a couple of the lads on the score sheet. We don't have to win necessarily, but we need to just increase the confidence of a few players. Maybe one or two of them hit the back of the net. Break the slump, get a couple of goals in. That's all that's needed, and then we can go into the next fixtures with a bit more confidence, knowing that we put up a really good fight against City. We got some goals. That's what's needed ultimately. And I agree. We've all been talking about Maxi, Isak, and Gordon. I think that's the best front three to play against Man City because all three will relish the chance to eat 40 yards of turf and just run at people. All of them love it. Isak absolutely loves it. Maxi loves it. Gordon's so energetic. There will be more space. I think Man City are going to be absolutely terrified of this game because this is a proper banana skin for them because we're dejected, lacking confidence, lost a cup final. But we will bounce back at some point. We're not gonna lose every game between now and the end of the season. We will bounce back at some point. When are we going to bounce back? Is the question. We've been putting up a good XG the last few games.
Yeah, let's not forget.
Good opportunity to do that.
There is teams worse than us have gone to the Etihad this season and won.
Exactly.
Let's not forget that. So why can't we go there and do it? I'm not saying I'm confident at doing it. I'm saying why can't we go there and do it?
The only way they beat us, I think a couple of goals were quite fortunate. When we played last time in the 3-3, there was one really decisive goal with a I think it was Gundogan, was it? Or was it De Bruyne to Gundogan, possibly? Or the other way around. Absolutely incredible ball, sliced us open. But apart from the one goal, I think the other two were very fortunate for Man City.
So
if we can just pray that they don't, they don't have that quality just for 90 minutes, because there are games where they can't open the door for some reason. Let's just hope it's our game, and then we can be a bit more productive at the other end.
Yeah. Paul Gallant says apparently they got to sell out their stadium. Yes, only because it's Newcastle are playing. We sell out our away end. I guarantee there will be empty blue seats at the Etihad on Saturday. There always is. And you can guarantee that if something happens, they'll be out with the mobile phones rather than cheering. Was it Real Madrid that were doing that when Real Madrid were there? And I think Benzema scored for Real Madrid and he went into the corner and all you saw was City fans all with their phones taking photos. I mean, I'd want to throw bloody shitty bog rolls at him and pigs' heads and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to get a bloody photo. I mean, come on. I wouldn't really throw a pig's head, by the way. I don't even know where I'd get a pig's head from, to be fair. That would have animal rights onto me in a second. Ab says we will finish top 6 this season, which would be a fantastic achievement. Absolutely. I mean, Billy, are you... I mean, look, we'll still give the Champions League a go, but I think that the whole narrative for this season was to try and finish sort of as high as we could, and maybe, Conference League or Europa League, whatever it will be, would be a bonus. Now we're in a position where we should get that.
Well, I think we'll certainly finish top 6. I'm still not ruling out the top 4, if I'm perfectly honest. Spurs are, they're very fickle, aren't they? They're very not the most solid side in the world. Any Spurs?
Well, they were absolutely abysmal last night.
Liverpool have hit a bit of form, but they've got Man United on Sunday. Will they lose that against them? It's possible. So, yeah, I mean, we've got a good run of fixtures coming up after this one. If we can get something Saturday, it'd be fantastic. Because the fixtures coming after that will give us confidence for those. So I'm not ruling out 4th just yet, but I think we'll definitely finish 5th or 6th if we don't.
And you did bring up that cliche phrase, didn't you, Billy? Free hit.
I did say free
hit. Yes,
it is a free hit.
It is. Jock Bar, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, because I was gifted a membership, I'm putting a £5 back in the pot. Thank you very much, Keith. Brilliant gesture, Keith. Thank you so much for that. Sean Stevenson's £5 super chat. Thank you. Paul, Beamish are after some technical equipment for their museum. Can they have yours and also Alex's laptop? Well, they can have Alex's. There's nothing wrong with my laptop, actually. It's nothing. It was just the hub that was, that I plug all the wires into. I've gone back to my old one, which works fine. I don't even know why I bloody changed it. But hey-ho. But Alex's, I mean, that can go in the same category as Captain Caveman, the dinosaurs, whatever you'd like to mention, really. Shamrock says, I think we're in for a beating on Saturday. I think we will be really defensive, but we aren't scoring anyway, and our defence hasn't been great. A draw would be a good result.
We haven't been really defensive all season, even when we went to Arsenal. Let's be honest. I know they're top of the table. We weren't really defensive.
We've played defensive when we've had to. Yeah, exactly.
We had a chance to score at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Anfield, we scored and should have had another one.
George Ricard, thank you very much for your £20 super chat, matey. That is really kind. Just want to say, hit the like. Indeed, get those like buttons pressed, guys. It takes 2 seconds to do so, but it massively helps the channel. Just hit that thumbs up. That would be very much appreciated, guys. Brad has said, City looking like they're getting back to form. I fear we'll have a hangover from the Man United game. Too many of our lads seeing a drop in form. I just hope we hold our own. Goals are a problem. Goals are a problem. Is Eddie going to have the bottle to drop Callum Wilson, though? Is he going to do it? That is a big question.
Well, yeah, I think he can now, can't he? He couldn't do it leading up to the final. I mean, we had this conversation about, there were certain players that earned the right to play that final. It is what it is. But now, now that's done. There's been a run of games, and Eddie Howe had to justify his pick of Wilson. Let's not forget, he did say in an interview that he'd put him in because he scored recently, and it was that one goal. So the fact that he's come out and said that essentially means that he's in the team because he scored that goal. So, it's Man City. Again, I don't want to say free hit again too many times, but it's time. It's, we lost the cup final. it's time to rotate. You can rotate without being crucified now. For all those people saying different formations were needed in the final, you can't rotate in a final that much. If you try 3 or 4 different players and it doesn't work, you get crucified by everyone for making. Because then all the newspapers would say, "Why didn't he start Wilson in the final? Why didn't he start?" But now he can do whatever he wants, and it's justified. Yeah. The players can't moan. The players certainly can't moan if they get dropped now, because we've 2-0 to Liverpool, 2-0 to Man United, lost a final. Nobody's going to whinge if he changes it. So he's perfectly allowed to just change everything without getting any criticism now.
As for the Man City point, they've had. I just want to say about Man City point, saying that they're in form. They've had about 4 or 5 false storms this season where everyone thinks they're in form and then get beat. So
yeah, they have.
They look like they're in form at the minute, but I don't rule us out winning Saturday at all. At all.
Well, they were in form when Brentford went there and Brentford beat them. So you just don't know. Jordan says, is Steve Nixon on his way out of Newcastle United as the City man is being hired as head scout? I don't know what the situation is going to be with Steve Nixon. They didn't really mention that. They didn't. All they said was he's rejigging the backroom staff. So whether Steve Nixon leaves or whether he's going to go to another position, I personally don't think Steve Nixon will leave the club. I think he'll still be part of the staff, but time will tell. We don't know until Newcastle announce exactly what they're going to do. Ab says we've continued to dominate most teams, even during this dry spell. The negativity is unbelievable. Well, I mean, a lot of people have gone exceptionally negative, which I don't understand. Yeah, we'll criticize players for the performances when we do match reviews, but if we're looking at it on the whole season, then we have very little to moan about. Given
I do have a stat to kind of what's the word? Absolve the lads a little bit. Big chances missed. We're 3rd in the league for big chances missed with 43. So, and
well, that says it all. Really.
I know it's been a long time, but you've still got to factor in these drop points from like the Crystal Palace error from the officials and the offside that wasn't offside for Isak. These are all points that we earn and deserve and should be on the table. And again, 43 missed chances, which is big chances missed, which is 3rd in the league. So Liverpool are 1st with 52 big missed chances, which goes some way to explain why they're having such a poor season. Their shooting boots are poor. That is consistent with Nunez's early performances as well. Man City are 2nd with 50 big chances missed, and we're 3rd with 43. It's just about, consistency in front of goal. We're making those chances, just not putting it in the back of the net. And we will do at some point, because we went on that run of form where we were banging in a ton of goals. So it will come.
Absolutely, yeah. Spacebar's right. Typical if we went there and after the cup final and got a result. It's typical Newcastle United. That kind of roller coaster ride that Newcastle United take us on every single bloody week. Goldfather says I'll take a goalless draw with a last minute winner.
Say we lost to Hereford in the cup, then went to Old Trafford and won many years ago.
Yeah. Mary says, evening, hope you're all keeping well. Shout out to the hosts and our great mod squad. Good evening to Jacka. Paul says, ASM has to start for me, considering what he did against Walker last time. George says, would love us to win, but we can't score goals. Drop Miggy for Gordon. I really hope I'm wrong, and hoping the dip in form was because we were in the final. Paul Tully says, we'll be bang up for this game. He's going 2-1 the Toon. Well, exactly what we're talking about. It's how we react to the cup final defeat, I guess. It all depends on what mindset the players have. Do they want to go out there and use that defeat, use that hurt and pain as an incentive to go on and better the season and finish as well as they can? Or do they want to sit and sulk about it and it goes the other way? I'm hoping it's the first because I think, the way Eddie will have the players galvanized, I think hopefully we go there with a really positive attitude, Bill.
100%. But a lot of it is dependent on who's fit and who isn't. I mean, we could be going into the game without Bruno, Willock, possibly Shea if he's concussed. So who knows? Who knows what side's going to go out on the pitch? But if we could put as close to a full strength side, well, I think we can actually put a full strength side out if they're all fit now because Pope's back, no suspensions. Yeah, I think we could give them a right good game. I really do.
Yeah.
And although we won't not dominate possession like we have done the previous few weeks when we've lost, probably won't dominate possession on Saturday. In fact, I'm sure we won't. but that's not to say we're not going to win the game.
And I'm not sure we'll get much out.
64% possession, so
I'm not sure Eddie's going to give. Yeah, but I'm not sure Eddie's going to give anything away tomorrow anyway. In his press conference, he never does. He'll talk about the injuries, but he'll not say if it's long term, or he'll probably say we'll have a look. We'll have a look. He just does not give anything away. And I might have known Tom Lynch would come forward and tell me where I can get pigs' heads from. Granger Market. Well, thank you, Tom, but I really don't want one. What the hell do you buy a pig's head for? Do people eat pigs' heads like brains and stuff? And
you have to ask David Cameron.
I've not seen a pig's one, but my one of my friends growing up, they were game dealers, and the dad used to like boil donkey heads and stuff for the skull displays. It was absolutely rank. It stank out of the village. It was horrible.
Mr. Spoon says Pig's Head International will be after you, Paul. Devon says just need rid of the Deadwood players and we'll be okay for the future. If any Euro competition we can get. Conference League and Cup final in our first full season under new ownership would be an incredible season from where we started. Anything else is a bonus and it's possible. I agree with that.
I think because Man United won the Carabao Cup, I think Conference League now goes down to 8th. If I might be right. I think
it does. I think it does. Yeah. Which is an even bigger incentive. We look at the midfield guys for Saturday, and of course we mentioned the potential of injuries. If God help us, Bruno is injured, can't play. Willock is injured. Who does he go with, peeps? Alex.
It'll be Longstaff, Joelinton, and Anderson, won't it? He'll stay with the midfield three.
That's a worry to me. I think that's throwing Elliott to the Sharks myself. But
I agree.
I
think there are situations that we can play a 2, but all of those include needing Bruno. I think the only way we can play a 2, we can be good enough, is with Bruno. I don't think we could play a 2 without him. I don't think any of them are talented enough to play in a 2. I think that's just asking for trouble.
Well, the only 2 I can think of would be Joelinton and Longstaff, which for me,
I don't think that's enough there. I don't think there's enough technical ability there against City to play in a double. Absolutely no way.
Yeah. Ugly Hoodrat says, guys, if Pope is not back, we will lose. Well, he is back, so we'll win. There you go. Greg says, don't forget we've drawn 3-3 twice with City, and the lads are disappointed with the final. I'm confident we will have a good game. Lee says, Paul, you'll be okay to throw pigs. Trotters won't get wrong with that. Again, trotters. What would I want trotters for? Would-be Farmer says, did NUFC beat any strong teams on the way to the Carabao Cup final? Yes, they did. Tranmere.
Well, on the flip side, Man United's run to the final was extremely easy compared to us. We had 3 Premier League sides in a row, whereas they played absolute dross until they got to Nottingham Forest, who arguably aren't particularly strong either. They had a much easier route to the final.
And I see that both Manchester clubs have home ties in the next round of the FA Cup, funny enough. By the way, big shout out to Grimsby Town, guys. Winning it. I know Southampton are having a stinking season, but my God, that is some achievement. And look, some people are saying about one of the penalties when he was struck across the back. He whacked him across the back. Whether he went over the top with the fall or not, it's a penalty. You can't do that on a football pitch. It just
the slap from
the slap. Yeah, I mean Southampton are in serious trouble this season.
I mean, this is exactly why I say you can't listen to me too much because I'm not a professional. I like Southampton's team on paper, I really do, but they're just awful. I'm not sure why, but I really like them as a squad. So then maybe I get some points if they suddenly have a massive turnaround. But it doesn't look like it. I don't know what's wrong with them.
They keep changing manager, I think.
Well, that doesn't help.
Well, they need to bring in a decent manager. I mean, look, I didn't agree with some of the things that Hassan Hoodle Pot Noodle said, but I think they're probably regretting sacking him now.
Well, if they go down, there's some some pretty good things we can pick up from Southampton, to be fair, on the cheap.
Oh, yes. Mr. Ward-Prowse. Yeah, there's some
Walker
good players
Peters,
there.
Lavia. There's a bunch of players in that squad that are really tidy. Bella Kotchap as well, young centre-back. We could do with one of them. It's loads.
I quite like the centre-half as well that plays for, can't remember his name is. I always forget his name. What's his name? Salisu, yeah, quite like him.
I'm not sure on Walker Peters like Alex, I have to say. But
I mean, with our current fullbacks, absolutely yes.
Well, yeah, I guess so, because he can play on the left, can't he?
fullbacks,
He's
do we?
played on the left quite a few times for Southampton.
He's a right back, but they've been playing him on the left.
Yeah. Jordan says, Internazionale are willing to sell Martinez this summer, and we are after a proper fox in the box. Now he's 23, almost 24. Is he worth a punt, says Jordan. He fits the age bracket. Definitely. So he's a good player. He is a good player.
All I can think of now is the World Cup final miss when he got subbed on. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, well, let's not dwell on that too much, Alex.
He was awful in the World Cup, to be fair, wasn't he?
Let's not dwell on the World Cup, right? It was at the wrong time for a lot of the wrong players.
When's his contract?
Wilson has to be dropped. Has been shite, says Ian. Danny Gold Channel says Alexander Isak for the win with a Swedish flag. Ian says Isak and Gordon to start, or why waste 100 million quid? Yeah, we brought them in to perform. Now let's get them on the pitch to perform, Billy.
100%. You know, I'm going to say it again. It's a free hit this week. Let's go with the pace up front and have a go at them. Why not? Why not?
I wonder how many times you two said that tonight. I reckon it's quite a few. I mean, Alex has said it at least 11 times. Yep, there you go. Ugly Hoodrat says, guys, we are losing. We need to win the next game. Well, that is... Well, it's easier said than done, isn't it, really, when you're going to Manchester City?
Michael Owen?
I mean, Manchester City are, they are probably the toughest test we're going to get away from home this season, let's be honest. Spacebar says, it doesn't matter who we played, we got to it and got nothing. We had a poor run of form leading into it, so it didn't really matter. Shamrock says, fair points, guys, and I hope I am wrong. Been watching the old season reviews, and I think Howe would be well within his rights to change players around, as every previous manager done it. Something has got to change, I think. Starting with the striker, to be honest, because I think we have come to a point now where Callum needs to be dropped, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, he's not scoring. He got that one goal. His press is not as aggressive as it was. His energy's down. His speed's down. His physicality's down. His link-up play's down. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that he's offering right now. It's not a lot. If we can get him anywhere back to his November form, I've seen a lot of articles floating around about how he over-tried to get into the World Cup squad and he's just knackered. And then he got this illness on top of that and he's just destroyed. It's not my words. There's been a few articles floating around, but
no, there's a lot of ex-players have come out and said that he's just not performing.
It's hard to argue against that, isn't it? He just doesn't look right. So, and Isak looks hungry, looks fully fit again, 100% raring to go, ready to dribble at players. So he's got to play.
Yeah. Chi, thank you very much for your $5 Singapore dollars. He says ASM always plays well against teams that play high defensive line. If Isak and Gordon start, I can see us giving Man City a run for their money. Yes, Chi, go on. Alex, John has a plea. Alex, please don't give up on Maxi. I saw your comment last night. The supporters that say Maxi is no good don't deserve a player like him. He is the most skillful player we have.
I did retweet his tweet yesterday, actually. Somebody was talking about whether he cared and that he does care. And he replied to it saying, of course he cares. So the fact that he's having to come out on social media to confirm that he cares is ridiculous, to be fair. It's a joke. Yeah. The fact that he made a late run into the box and won a corner and screamed at the crowd and everything. he's not an actor. He's not an Oscar winner. You know, that's passion, that's emotion. Of course, he wants to do well.
Yeah, it's never going to change on Maxi, is it? To be fair, you know, whether he has a good game or not, I don't think anything is going to change.
I don't know if you saw what I said in the fan forum, but I said I think I said it to Tom. No, Jack. I said it to Jack. Even if Maxi scores a hat trick against Man City, it won't change anything because they will all come out afterwards and they'll just say, "Oh, well, he's just got to do it every week now." It won't make a difference. Even if he scores a hat trick, it won't make any difference. He's just got people that just hate him for no reason. So,
KT was wanting to know if Joe Linton and Pope are banned. No, they're not. They're both available. Michael reckons that Miggy needs to turn up. I don't think Miggy's going to play. It needs a change. Zishan, thanks for your $4.99 super chat. He says, my team going forward now is Pope, Trippier, Share, Botman, Target, Joe Linton, Bruno, Longstaff, Maxi, Gordon, Isak. Maxi and Gordon on either side doesn't matter. It does give, if we play that front three, I guess it does give them an option to sort of change it around and mix it up.
Definitely. They're fluid, aren't they? They can all play on, all three of them can move to the wings and play in the middle. So, I mean, it's going to confuse the defenders at least. And Man City have got a knack of playing centre halves at fullback anyway. So yeah, I think it's a real threat to Man City Saturday, especially if Walker starts wandering into midfield as he has been doing this season. You know, I think he'd be a bit more careful this week. I'll be honest. Yeah.
By the way, a lot of people commenting that Bruno was pictured today in training, so
good.
That is a good sign. Spacebar says we played Bournemouth, Palace, and Southampton, and if you think that makes a difference, look at who Man United played, also in their run. And the main difference was squad depth. Well, yeah, we all know that the squad depth is there for Man United. We're not at the same level as Man United, Man City, Liverpool. We all know that. We're a long way behind them still. But it's all about
Burnley, Charlton, Forest.
I mean, that's not exactly a tough run to the final, is it?
We had Bournemouth when they had Charlton. Bournemouth are a better team than Charlton.
Yeah, but we also had an extra game to get there. Man United came in the round later, didn't they? So let's not forget that either. They brought on Sancho. We brought on Matt Ritchie. Well, we brought Ritchie on with a minute left, space bar. Really? Come on.
It's fair
well, yeah, but he didn't come on till the last bloody minute.
Yeah, but if Matt Ritchie was Sancho, we'd have brought him on a damn site earlier, wouldn't we?
Well, I think that's just common sense, Alex, to be fair, isn't it?
It's to do with depth.
Yeah, exactly. Fresh Princess, please beat Manchester City. From a Man United fan, you played an amazing final and your fans were fantastic. Well, thank you very much. Stephen says he's seen pictures of Bruno in training today. AD said Eddie played Wilson as MUFC, play a counter-attacking game with little space in behind. Isak lacks upper body strength to bully defenders. City is perfect for Isak, lots of space in behind with a high line. Well,
I mean, Man United really went into a proper mid-block when towards the end of the game, and Isak was actually playing okay. I mean, in other games, yeah, Isak has struggled against the low block, but he did fine in the final, to be fair. They completely shut up, and he was still making nice runs and making space. Yeah, he physically wasn't great, but his runs were good.
Yeah. By the way, people saying Longstaff wasn't in the photos. Longstaff wasn't injured at the weekend. We thought initially he was, but Eddie Howe came and said that was tactical. It was a tactical change for Isak because he said he needed things to happen straight away rather than wait. So there was no injury to Longstaff. Hope you guys beat City. Come on the Toon from a Man United fan. Another one. Wow. Okay.
I'm starting to hope we get beat now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Man United fans, but it's too soon. We're not okay yet. It'll take a few weeks.
It could take forever. Fuck them.
Okay, fair enough, Billy. Julie J says the name's banded about at the minute. A transfer show coming up, perhaps. Yes, Alex is working on the names. There's plenty there for one.
There's been a lot in the last few days, actually.
Yeah, there has. Tack to all Swedish fans, says Geordie Boy. Of course, tack means thank you in Swedish. Yeah, you impressed with that, Alex? I know a bit of
Yeah,
Swedish.
I guess.
We may have been looking at
anti-Swedish,
another Swedish striker during the week as well. In fact, I know we were.
We're looking at what? Say that again.
Another Swedish striker during the week.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Henrik Larsson, everybody.
not
Would-be
him.
Farmer says, that is my point. After Bournemouth, I started scratching my head at the predictions to win these games. I hope I'm wrong. I would love a 3-0 win against City. I hope I eat my words. Devon says, to be honest, guys, I'd drop Miggy for Gordon. Yep, I would as well. 100% all day long. I think changes have to happen. Julie says, Miggy might want to play, if only to upstage Grealish. Look, Miggy, for me, Miggy's gone a little bit back into that sort of headless chicken role, you know, when he's running around with his bloody head going like this and he's not really got any final product. I think we just have to just put our trust in that Eddie will make the right decision, because Anthony Gordon will be chomping at the bit. And let's face it, he needs some game time. He needs game time, as does Isak. A good run in the side. And like I said earlier, you know, go and say to them, look, right, you've got 5 or 6 games where you're definitely going to start. Show me what you can do and earn your place. You know, get the best out of them. JT says, I hate to say this, but I think Wilson is finished. Like you said, Paul, all those injuries, our time have caught him up. And he seems to be feeling that when he plays. You can see it in his movement. It's a real shame. I mean, look, he has had some horrendous injuries, Billy, which are going to catch up on you when you sort of wrong end of 30.
Yes, but he was all right. It's illness. This is down to illness. It's not down to injury, is it? He caught some kind of thing in Qatar, brought it back with him. It's down to that. He hasn't been injured this season hardly at all. He's only had the one mod a couple of weeks out, I think, kind of September time. So I don't think it's I don't think it's injuries. He's just weak. He's weak as a kid, and he's not fit. Down to this debilitating illness. He needs to take 3 or 4 weeks out. We can't afford him to do that. Obviously, he'll have to sit on the bench even if he's not playing. So, but he needs some time to build himself up, basically.
Yeah. Grim Trousers says it's a shame we couldn't transplant Beardsley's brain into Maxi because he's got no football brain. Alex, I'll let you respond to that one.
I mean, he has a football brain, but obviously Beardsley's is way better, so I can't argue with it that much.
I mean, 90%
Maxi is just
Beardsley's brain. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Maxi's just raw talent, whereas, you know, I think he's developed a lot more of a footballing brain this season. You know, when is the last time because we always used to, I used to hear Paul saying every 5 minutes, will you pass the ball? Just pass the bloody ball. And now I don't hear that because he passes it, I think, too much now. I think he's gone the reverse. I think sometimes he just needs to shoot. So he's definitely changed and developed his game a lot. We'll just see if he can do it anymore.
Yeah. I'm now getting educated on pigs' heads, guys. Edward says, Paul, people eat pigs' cheeks, and also pig skin is used to make pastry. Okay. You know how we've just been saying how, you know, a couple of nice Man United fans coming in and making some good comments. He is a tosspot.
Oh, that's my case. Fuck off, Man United.
Yeah.
When you're taking a TalkSport quote and then using it for yourself.
Dickhead.
Indeed. Rachel, see you later. Enjoy your rehearsals. Have a good time. Marsden Rattler says, Paul, loved your words around the Northeast. Thank you very much. I do mean that. You know, Sunderland included in that. They are the Northeast at the end of the day. And, you know, we do get forgotten about all the time. And that's been proved over the years gone by.
Would you like to hear Callum Wilson's injury list?
Well,
how long we got?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's cruciate ligament rupture, hamstring, knee, hamstring, thigh, hamstring, calf, hamstring, coronavirus. There we go. That's his whole injury record.
So it is corona that he's had. That he actually admitted it was.
This is listed on Transfermarkt. It's from November the 1st until November the 11th as a 10-day period, and he missed 2 games for us.
Well, he's been it's after the World Cup, isn't it, that he got this apparent illness.
It's not listed on here, but yeah, it is confirmed. So
I hope he didn't go to a dodgy Qatari massage parlor or something. You know, the sore groin or anything like that. You just don't know these things. Zishan, thank you for your $4.99 again. He says, regarding the final, my family members, I threw the bastards out of the house just before the presentation. Yes, I'm a sore loser. Absolutely, Zishan. Absolutely. Don't let them watch. Mind you, hundreds of Man United fans left Wembley before they'd even lifted the cup as well, by the way, which just says it all. It just says it all. And then some of them were making excuses. We had to get back for our tube. You think one Newcastle fan would have left that ground had we won that cup before they'd lifted it? Not a chance in hell, pal. Spacebar, that's fine, buddy. No worries. Paul Tully says Larson may still be fitter than Callum. Well, that's a possibility. Jimmy Jones, our resident hammer, thank you for your $4.99. Evening all, he says. West Ham not going well at the minute for West Ham.
I just saw something about, just while we're on West Ham, I saw Roy Keane come out and whinge that Declan Rice doesn't score enough goals. And somebody on Twitter posted Roy Keane's goals for his career. It's like 3, 2, 0, 1, 2. And then Roy Keane's come out and said, I played that position. I've been there and done it. He needs to score more goals. Roy, did he? He didn't, did he? Heck, he didn't score goals. Rice is way better than Roy Keane was at scoring. Nonsense.
He's like a goal against us. He's like a goal against us, to be fair.
I think his best season was 6, and that was back in his very early 20s. And then everything else was like 2 or 3 goals a season.
By the way, Jono, your Man United fan, if you expect me to read that out, you're a bell end, sunshine, because it's clearly racist, and we will be reporting you for that. You've seen the comment, Billy. Obviously, it's in the chat. I'm not reading it out, but that is racist right there. So we will report that, and I hope you get your comeuppance, you absolute weapon. What a ridiculous, awful thing to say. Let's have a look. Julie J says tomorrow night it'll be back to the squirrels. Well, yeah, I mean, we're a very animal-friendly channel by the looks of things on here. Ab says if Wilson is finished, the medics and scientists employed by the club will assess that, not some numbnuts in the chat. Abs, have you been on Alex's Thursday night raw meat by any chance tonight? Because
I mean, she's got a point. She does
right.
have a point.
She's right. I think she's right.
Yes, but calling people numbnuts in the chat is a little bit unfair, right? Everyone's entitled to an opinion, right? Whether you agree with it or not. Let's not get into all that again. But just,
I don't know if that's an opinion. Are the physios and doctors more qualified than us in the chat and here? Yes.
Well, yes, they are, but
that doesn't mean that's literally
that doesn't mean that some people in the chat are numbnuts, Alex.
No, okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Yes,
that's an opinion.
Spike Milligan, thank you for your 20. Well, John Jono, yeah, he's the only one. Spike Milligan, thank you for your £20 super chat. He says, keep up the good work. Thank you very much, my man. And John Swan says, thank you for your $4.99. He says, Man United fans are like thrush. Irritating. See you next Tuesdays. Well said. Well said.
I'll tell you what, none of them, by the way, none of them in my gym are wearing their shirts because they know I'm there. Like 2 weeks leading up to the final.
Alex, they didn't even wear the shirts at Wembley, man.
No, I know. Well, but I deliberately wore, like, half the time I was in the gym, I was wearing all of our different shirts. And they were always wearing their Man United shirts. And since then, I saw a bunch of them today. They none of them are wearing it. I think because they know I'm there, so they don't want to wear the Man United shirts. It's funny.
Well, there you go. It just says, Julie J says, sick of Man United fans on Facebook. They're annoying. I've been blocking a lot of them. I only pointed out how Bruno was better than theirs. Oh, we've got to mack him in as well. There you go. Good evening, Philip T. You weapon. Roger says, get up. For fuck's sake, Maxi has been my frequent ASM raised voice. Actually, he did get up quite quickly on Sunday, though.
Well, he was a final.
I think because he was screamed at.
There needs to be equal rights. You need to say, get up, Miggy, because he's on the floor for equal amounts of time. Let's be fair.
Absolutely. Devon says, don't these idiots have their own channels coming on here talking absolute nonsense? No, because if they put themselves in front of a camera, the camera would break as the mirrors do when they look at them. Because they have faces for radio, my friend. JT says, yeah, maybe you're right with Wilson there, Billy. Let's hope he recovers properly, giving his age and injury record. Does anyone actually know what the illness was? COVID-based, maybe. Well, we're all presuming it was COVID, but then again, you just don't know. I mean, he said he brought an illness back from Qatar. I mean, whatever. I mean, Roy's probably the person to ask tomorrow night what kind of illnesses are going around Qatar that would knock him for six like that.
Syphilis, gonorrhea. Listening to Roy's comments most of the time.
Yeah. Right. I'm blocking this John Joe because he's an absolute tool. Again with his racist comments. What an absolute weapon. Martin says, I was a chef in the Northeast and we used to use pig cheeks. Use the pig's head as a buffet display. Boil the pig's head to get brawn.
Brawn, yeah. Not very nice.
Lee says, it was great when you said you seen Darlow at Wembley, Paul. Yeah, I did. Many moons ago, before the new stadium, I went to see Darlington in the playoff final. I believe they lost to Peterborough many moons ago. Many moons ago. Cheese says, yes, I know. Cheese says, any idea how do we play an early kickoff? I remember we don't play well in the most, right? Well, we just have to keep our fingers crossed.
We played Leicester away in the one, didn't we? I think that was the last one we played. Was it?
Yeah.
What I'm imagining that? We won that.
Dopey Chris says, Paul, can you stop talking about pigs, please? You're becoming a bit of a bore. There's the Christmas cracker joke for tonight. There you go. Let's have a look. John will try to make another comment, but he's blocked. Devon says, I hate when Man United fans call us tin pot. What they don't realise is we have won trophies in the past. Their arrogance annoys me every time. It'll never end. Kare, thank you for your 50 Norwegian krona. He says, which is capital in Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Finland? Helsinki, Stockholm, Copenhagen, and Oslo are all our alternatives. We'll see how good Paul is on this. Right, well, Copenhagen is Denmark, Helsinki is Finland, Stockholm is Sweden, and Oslo is Norway. Stick that in your pipe, Kari! I know me geography, my friend. But thank you for your super chat. Pender says, I know it sounds harsh, but I would get rid of Wilson, as you've discussed the long list of injuries. Anthony says, funny, nobody complaining when the Saudi donate money to the UK infrastructure and donate billions to the running of the university over here. Exactly.
Can I just say that respond to that previous comment about getting rid? I think that's very unfair to suggest we get rid of Wilson. I mean, there's nothing to prove that he won't be able to find some form and fitness again. And we all know he's not going to be the first choice in the future, but for somebody of his quality at 31 years old, he's not super old. There's no reason he couldn't stay for another 2 or 3 years and be very useful for the team as a squad player, especially if we qualify for European competition. We're going to need players. Ludicrous to suggest we just get rid. I mean, that's really harsh considering what he's done for the club.
Was that another weapon you've just blocked there, Billy?
Oh, yes.
All right, okay. Julie J's going, I'll stick with my 1-1 prediction, but do hope we win. I think that's a fair comment. Sean, thank you for another £5. He says, our last went into a butcher's and said, is that a pig's head in the window? The butcher said, no, it's a mirror. Wow. You'll be getting a crack across the chops, matey.
Chops.
I just
made a pig's ear of that, Paul.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse on this show. The jokes are pretty bad. Johnny Boy says the Swedish Navy are putting barcodes on their submarines so they can Scandinavian. Oh, that's terrible. What the hell is going on here? Michael says we need to make sure we sign James Maddison in the summer. He'll be a great addition. I think we would have won the cup on Sunday if we'd had a Maddison in that first 11. I really do. somebody that can shoot, that can deliver a ball, I think we would have beaten them, but it wasn't to be. Right. It is now time for predictions, team predictions. Billy, what's your team for the weekend?
Bearing in mind we don't really know about injuries, but we've seen Bruno. But I'll go with what I think it will be. What I'd pick, I should say. Pope in goal, Trippier at right back, Burn at left, Cher and Botman in the middle. Bruno, Joe Linton and Longstaff, Maxi, Isak, and Gordon. I think that's what we'll go with.
Alex?
Pope, Trippier, Cher, Botman, Burn, Bruno, Longstaff, Joe Linton, and then Maxi, Isak, Gordon. So I think the same as what Billy said.
That's exactly the same team. Yes. Coach Austin, thank you for your $4.99 super chat. He says, on the way home now to watch the greatest show, the Toon Review. Thank you very much, matey. Really appreciate that. And funny enough, I'm going with exactly the same team as used to. I think that's the first time that has ever happened, that we are all going with the same team, probably because it's the only one that we can bloody play, surely to God. But you know what? Eddie will always throw a curveball in. We say it week in, week out. I remember when we used to say that we could never sort of predict what Rafa was going to pick. You know, we never knew what team he'd pick. And Eddie's a bit the same. You know, we just don't know what he'll do. But for me, and I suppose you guys, he has to do that. He has to give people a chance. And he's got £100 million worth of talent sitting on the bench in Gordon and Isak, who haven't had proper runs in the side yet. Let's be honest. It's now time for them to come in. You know, the time is now, isn't it?
I would think so. Now the cup final's over and done with him, we need to get some momentum back in that league running. So, I mean, he could play Gordon on the left and Miggy still at right and on the right, but I just think Miggy needs a rest.
It's too long.
Miggy's not playing great either. I mean, they'll read him like a book, man. You know, he'll not have any success against City because they know what he's going to do. They know what Pep's not stupid. He will have identified that Newcastle United will need, the amount of time they come down the right hand side. He's a very, very good manager, and he will have identified that in a second. Julie J reckons we should rest Cher for a game. I would rather rest him the week after than rest him against Manchester City, to be honest, Julie. Although if this is a free hit, then...
Although he did randomly play Lascelles against Liverpool a few months ago, didn't he? For no reason at all.
Yeah. I still think Cher should have come off in the cup final. I think he didn't have a clue where he frigging was. And that worried me.
If Target was fit, I think Cher would get a rest. I think if Target was fit, I think Cher would get a rest. I think it'd shift the centre halves over, Burn to centre half and Botman to where Cher is.
Yeah. Certainly, Lascelles would be interesting against Manchester City. Anyway, finally, it is now time to predict the scores. Alex, we'll go with you first for this one. Score and scorers, please.
I'll go with. I'm just going to go with a funny one. Why not? I'm going to go with 3-3. And I'm going to go with all of our front three to score.
Wow!
Maxi, Isak, and Gordon.
What, you're not going with Botman this week, no?
No. I think they have too much quality, and they will score a few against us. But I think the game is going to be so open and an exciting game. So hopefully, now it will be a 0-0 just because I've said that. But yeah, 3-3.
Brian Watson, no, Joe Linton is not suspended. The yellow card that he got in the cup final does not go into the league game. It's a stupid rule that they've got with regards to yellow and reds. But listen, he'll be playing. Don't you worry about that. Right, Billy?
Still go with my head and my heart. Well, I'm going to go with my heart, as I always do. Counter-attack masterclass from Eddie Howe. Newcastle will win 4-2.
Guys, hang on a minute, right? Listen, I'm all for the positivity, and in the words of Kevin Keegan, I love it, right? However, right? where in God's holiest planet are you two getting that we're going to score 3 and 4 goals, given how many we've scored lately?
Because they're due to go in.
Well,
there'll be a bunch of space. It'll be it's a completely different game, and they are due to go in.
I mean, my head says
4-2, Billy.
We can't keep score. We can't keep accumulating 2 XG a game and scoring 0. It will eventually. It's going to go in the net. For all the times it hit the outside of the post, eventually it's going to hit the inside of the post and go in. It's just averages. It's going to happen at some point.
I mean, my head is saying to me now, what the fuck are you talking about? But I think a masterclass.
Well, I'm glad it is. I'm glad it is, Billy. Just because now you said that, I know that you're all right. You haven't had a bang on the head at work or something.
Let me change something. If he starts with Wilson and Miggy, then no, I don't think this will happen. I think it's got to be the front three that we've predicted because of how lethal they can be just attacking space. And I just think it will be hard to. It's going to be hard for Pep to predict what we're going to play, how we're going to play, and this might be a good opportunity for us. It is a free hit, and we could play any variety of a funny. We could play a completely different front three. We've got Murphy fit, so Murphy, Wilson, Miggy, Gordon, Maxi, Isak. We could play any combination of that and play in a different way. So it's quite hard for City to prep for necessarily. Could be interesting. You never know,
guys. But Christ, I want what used to have been smoking this afternoon. I mean, 3-3 and 4-2.
I haven't thought my score was yet.
The 4 goals.
Bruno will score 1. Gordon will get 2. And I think Maxi will score also. Hang on, that leaves Isak out. Make it 5-2. Isak with our fifth.
Oh, fuck off, Billy. No, I'm not having that. Nah. Not having that.
I'll stick with
I can't take that seriously.
Wait till Andrew's
Johnny Boy.
comes in.
Well, he's already said 7-0. Johnny Boy, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says that's to make up for the terrible joke. Blame the COVID. Get well soon, buddy. I think I caught a comment saying it's like a mild cold that you've got. So that's as long as it stays like that, mate, and get yourself pulled round. Now Toon lives in Saudi. Says, Paul, book a flight and my family will show you how we really are. We will take you in with a place to stay and you will never need spending money. Come on and see how we are. Hey,
what about me and Billy? We can all come.
Yeah.
Well, Toon review trip to Saudi Arabia. Listen,
safety numbers.
I think we need to do a show from Saudi. I think that would be brilliant in a cafe somewhere. Live from Riyadh, yeah. Why not? Tony Timebridge says, Billy, you've got meth in your vape. Clearly.
Possibly.
Len Simmons, thank you very much for your $4.99 super chat. He says, look to score. You have to smash it into the net. In other words, between the bloody posts, hit the target. Get in that dressing room on Saturday, Len, and just yell that at them. Definitely. I mean, if they're watching this, John says, Paul, you need to get them both tested for drugs. I think I do. Stiff says, we are away from home and our shithousing will get on their nerves, emotionally rile them up and counter them. They are not impossible to beat, but granted, very, very difficult. Not according to Billy. FMO says, Eddie doesn't do curveballs, pardon the expression. Tony Timebridge says, Pope's going to score with an overhead kick. Julie's decided to go with Billy's optimism. Andrew says we'll get 7 penalties. Oh, dear God. This high in the table, a cup final, nothing to lose at this point. That's a very good comment as well. David says, to be fair to Billy and Alex, it would be typical if we win on Saturday. We beat Man United the week after Hereford. Yeah, Billy mentioned that earlier on in the show. Hopefully that's a good omen. Nick says, please explain to me what an expected goal is, especially when expected goals are 3.2 to 1.8. Expected by who exactly?
So they take they create a value based on the goal scoring opportunity of your shot, like whether it was going on target, how many opposition players are around you at the time of the shot, how far the shot is away from goal, whether you were hitting it with your wrong foot. they factor in all of these things, and then they give each shot an XG value, an expected goals value, and then that gets accumulated into the team's XG. So, for example, if somebody, the best example of this is a penalty. I think they give a penalty. They always give it a 0.78 XG. So 78% of the time a penalty is scored. So it gets 0.78 XG. It's just a flat value always. So it just depends on the quality of the shot. So we've been generating really high XG over the last 4 to 5 weeks. And the only team that's out XG'd us, embarrassingly enough, is Bournemouth. We've out XG'd every other team we've played. Liverpool, we out XG'd them. We beat them 2-1 on XG. Man United, we accumulated more XG than they did because we're getting the opportunities. We're just not being clinical. We're not. Either the goalkeepers are having a blinder or we are squandering good opportunities and not putting it in the right place. But typically, over time, you do catch up with your XG. Over a long enough period of time, you will always balance out. The only people that have ever broken the XG model are people like Messi and Ronaldo, and currently Haaland, because he's a freak. But yeah.
And that's, ladies and gentlemen, is why Alex is so valuable to this channel and is called Stato, because that just went over my head. But as long as one person on this channel knows what bloody XG means, I'm happy with that. Drew said it's unfair to bash Amnesty. They are right to raise issues. It's their job as a charity. They focus equally on the UK and the US as well as other clubs. It's the media that decide who to focus on. Yeah, we're not bashing Amnesty. You've got it the wrong way, right? We're saying they should focus it on the politicians and people that can do something about the human rights issues. A football club, no. But go to the right place. And yes, nobody's bashing Amnesty. Just don't label it with the football club because politics don't belong there. It should be with the politicians, etc. But we've said enough on that anyway. I haven't given my prediction yet, have I?
You said 17, but you've not given the score.
I live in Newcastle, Paul, but born in Saudi. I always love going back home with family. Things were so different years ago. Things have changed. I can't wait to retire and go home. Yeah, brilliant. Actually, didn't Amnesty? I'm going back to Amnesty International. But didn't they say that Ukraine should be done for war crimes for fighting back against Russia? I'm pretty sure they did. So they say things that can be wrong as well. Not everybody is right in all of this. But anyway, right. What did I give a score?
No,
we're still waiting for you to bring us down.
5-1 Newcastle.
That's taking
and we're on drugs.
I am not going with 5-1 Newcastle. I am going to be the
pragmatic
beacon. I am going to be the beacon of common sense on this channel today.
Bacon.
No, not bacon, Alex. The beacon of common sense, right? As always, actually, I will be the beacon of common sense on this channel. I think it'll be a very, very tough game. I think City will win 2-1, right? But I think we will give a good account of ourselves and bounce back from the cup final defeat, and we will use the performance against City to go on and get some more points in the games to come, which I think are very winnable.
Is that the first prediction where someone's predicted a win for the opposition all season? I think it is.
Probably, yeah. Look, look.
I mean, to be fair, we've only lost 2 all season, so we're not normally that wrong, are we?
Well, true. Exactly. Tom Lynch says, "How's the beacon? Did you say?" Look, I'm just being honest, guys. Don't get me wrong. I would absolutely love to beat Man City or love to take something from the game, right? This is just a score prediction. And as everybody knows, my score predictions are horrifically wrong week in, week out. So we'll probably go down there and win 3-1. Now I've predicted a 2-1 win for City. I'm just being sensible. Just the way we've been playing, the lack of goals. I don't know where the hell Alex are getting 3 and Billy's getting 4 from. Whatever it is that they've been eating or smoking, I want a piece of that. But I just have to go with what Ab says you should give £100 to charity if you get the predictions wrong. Might get honest predictions then. Where
Amnesty International, do you, Abs?
Billy. Look, I think £100 if we get them wrong. I think I'd be getting bollocked every week off Susan, really, just for that is my honest.
Everyone right, oh yeah. You're the only one that's got one right. The rest of us score-wise, anyway, we've got results right.
Yeah, I did say we would get the Carabao Cup final as well, which I'm pretty proud of.
The referee is Simon Hooper, who's a Swindon fan. So, yeah.
Oh, well, we've got a chance this time. It could be, indeed. By the way, did you see Paul Teeney's decision the other night? Last night, the Liverpool game, to give Fabinho a yellow card for getting, he got lynched. I mean, I know Fabinho is not an angel himself, but Fabinho got the ball and it was lynched by a Wolves player, and the referee books Fabinho.
He should have been sent off.
Staggered.
I mean, that's payback.
Oh, it was a terrible tackle.
He should have been sent off a few weeks
ago. Well, Alex, that's hypothetical. It's gone. That's in the past. I'm talking about last night's.
It's karma. Karma's never hypothetical.
By the way, Nout says, Paul, you and Billy get over to Saudi, but don't think Billy will like the way we eat. Don't think Billy will be able to get back off the floor.
What about me? Why am I not in this conversation?
How do you eat over there then? Is it intravenously or something?
I think they have to sit. Billy, I think they have to sit.
Right,
they sit on the floor, don't they? I think that's how they sit.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure there's hefty.
Well, I don't know where Alex is in this.
I don't know because I'm not coming, obviously. So
I'll bring you some sweetbreads back, Alex. See.
He does. He's took that personally. Wow. Right.
I mean, that is it for tonight. Now my name's been in none of them. So.
Oh dear God. Seattle Johnny, thank you for your $10 super chat. He says, talking to pig parts. Ask Jimmy tomorrow about chitlins. Love the show. NUFC before the World Cup won the team now 3-0 City. Sorry. Listen, hey, you just got to go with what you think.
There used to be chitlins in this country years ago. It's awful, isn't it? Like some horrible pig's trotters and that kind of shit. Awful's the word for it, no, awful. Like I remember my gran used to have pig's trotters hanging out the sauce with hairs on it and all sorts. Oh, Christ. Nails on the end of it and all sorts. Serious to God.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Can't Cook, Won't Cook, live on the Toon Review. Anyway, that is it for tonight, guys. Thank you very much. Over 600 watching on an early start on a Thursday. By the way, this is the new time that we will be starting on a Thursday night now with our match previews. It'll be 6 o'clock every Thursday. So if you can make sure that you remember that, guys. All the rest of the shows will be at the usual times, unless advertised differently. But it will be 6 p.m. on a Thursday night from now on, with the predictions and everybody. You can continue your chat about offal and pigs' heads and pigs' testicles or whatever you want to talk about in the chat. But we are now disappearing. We will be back tomorrow, of course, at 8 p.m. with the TTR Friday show, where we'll be talking more about obviously what's been said about Newcastle United. We'll see what Eddie Howe had to say. I will be doing a video on the press conference as well, so keep an eye out for that if there's any breaking news with that. And of course, join me for the watch along at lunchtime on Saturday. But we'll get Billy and hopefully Alex on at half-time and full-time for their thoughts on the game. Alex, you want to mention something before you go?
Yeah, just to note, if he's still in the chat, I mean, this is not about the invites. This is about Saudi football. So I'm trying to learn about Saudi. It's not about that. I'm trying to learn about Saudi football for the league and all the teams. And I thought it would be cool to ask any Saudi viewers that we've got of the channel when they appear in the chat, so we can have a conversation about some Saudi football. So if you email the channel address in the description, email Paul, and then we can get in contact.
Indeed.
Talk about
he has been in the chat again, Alex, but he still hasn't mentioned you.
I've seen it.
We will see Billy like a spit roast.
Maybe it's better that I don't go.
No, you can go, Alex. You can take my place.
Hell's
exits, no entrance.
He says, joking, Billy fella. I said, bloody hope so. That is not what we want to end the show on, because people are now going to have the teas and go to bed thinking of Billy on a spit roast. I mean, you know, there's everything on this show. But listen, guys, thank you very much for all the super chats. You've been very kind again tonight. Thank you so much. It really does help the channel. And of course, thank you to all of the new subscribers. Please hit the like button before you leave the stream. It does really help the channel in search results, etc. And of course, if you're new, please do subscribe and hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we go live, we schedule a show, or we indeed post any recorded videos. Thank you to the mods as well. Brilliant again, as usual. Thank you to Billy and Alex, and we will see you again 8 p.m. tomorrow, but keep an eye open for the recorded video. Until then, guys, good night.
Now we're the lads and lasses.